Good evening, family. Thank you for joining us again for another week of Nuestra Tabla Rasa. Tonight I am hosting and I'm joined by Trista, Josh, Victor, and Lucky. And tonight we will be discussing lessons in love. So thank you for returning. I see many of you here. Thank you for waiting. Karen, Suki, Care Bear, Christine, Linda, I loved the outfit today. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that for us. Rossi, Clint, and oh my goodness, so many people. Thank you. Thank you all for being here and staying up so late and starting the week off with us. So, tonight's topic lessons in love. The reason I chose to discuss love tonight for this topic or for this week's episode is because many of us I've found throughout meeting people in chats and listening in when people were asking for healings and clearings that many empaths, which many of us are, have had the same pitfall when it comes to love, that we loved everyone else so much that many of us forgot to show ourselves love. Um, I've heard it described as people pleasing, where we were so eager to give to everyone else and to help heal everyone else that we often forgot to focus the same love that we would give to others on ourselves. And that was to our detriment. So I think that one of the main reasons that empaths, or one of the main lessons that empaths have had to learn throughout this journey, is to learn to love themselves, and that loving oneself is not in any way selfish, or to put yourself first is not bad. You know, we've all heard, everyone talking about how, when you're on the plane, you have to put your mask on first before you put it on anyone else. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to love. You have to love yourself first so that you can show love to others. So I thought that that was an interesting topic for another reason also, and that's because we are in Leo season. So happy birthday to all the Leos, because I know we have a bunch out there. Um, and Leo has to do with the heart chakra and the
Mm.
heart. A lot of the zodiac signs. I know, like for instance, Virgo is related to the stomach and stomach issues, and Leo has to do with the heart. And we have the 888 portal coming up, or the 88 portal. Actually, it's not 888 this year, but that again has to do with love. And the key to receiving your gifts for the 88 portal has to do with having a clear heart chakra and forgiving and all those lessons in love that we have learned throughout the years. So I actually wanted to start off tonight with Victor and have Victor discuss the different types of love,
Oh,
because I think that that's a great topic, to a great way to ease into it.
yeah, it certainly is, and uh, I'll stick to the top two that I usually speak about. Well, I'm going to go deeper than that, but right off the top of my head, of course, I like to make the distinction between agape love, yeah, or blue hearts as I call them, because you guys know I kind of give hearts a lot and in chats and stuff, and then we have our red hearts, which is romantic love, and I don't know where that came from, but there is a distinction there, and agape love is something that we all share with one another, and our all of our individual sites and people that we come to know as our brothers and sisters is agape love, and I think that's what's permeating the planet right now. Predominantly is agape love, because agape love is for everyone, whereas romantic love is individual. So it's like a personal and then a public love. That's a good way to think about it, actually. Personal love is romantic, and then agape love is what we share amongst all of our family members, and and so on. But let's talk about some other types of love real quick, like xenia. That's Xenia. Xenia is Greek love, and then there's and it also means hospitality or giving love to strangers. Okay, and then there are eros, of course, is sexual love. Delia, Delia is a soul connection or brotherly love. And then we have storge. Storge? Storge, which is devoted love, and then pragma, which is mature love, ludus, playful love, mania, obsessive love, and Wallachia, 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 self-love, and then agape. And I have this as unconditional love. Agape is unconditional love, but I think unconditional love kind of applies everywhere.
Hey
What?
Vic, I think there's something up with your mic. You're sounding a little different. I don't know if it's just me.
Did it go
No,
out?
yeah.
It's like a little muffled.
Is it muffled now?
Uh huh.
Still.
Nope.
Oh, now it's good.
There you go.
Well, some cat we may all know likes to
Uh huh.
stomp around up here. Oh, you know what? Actually, I had a loose connection right here. I just plugged it in. Thanks, Nub.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell about the different types. However, I think it's so very important. Well, you guys, all of you know, everyone here has at least been to a session, to one of our Truth Wave things. They know what I'm about. And I really love to. I love that. It's one of my favorite parts through the session is when we do the self-full love. When we talk about that self-full love and how important it is, and our self-talk, so important to ourselves when it comes to love and loving ourselves, and even lessons in love. It's the topic, our topic name tonight. I don't know which direction you want to go, Millie, but we can talk about various lessons. But I think I will yield the floor for the next person.
I think it could be loose. I think that so many of us have discovered so many different things. I mean, even what our concept of unconditional love was
Mm-hmm.
changed. Like for myself, unconditional love was the love that I always had for my children, and I thought for my partner, and for my pets. And it's like no matter what, you love them, and you do. That hasn't changed. But again, learning to put myself first rather than to drain myself of everything and not show that to myself. So I'd like to hear definitely what other people have experienced as part of their journey, and whether they feel that that's even changed at all. Maybe some people don't, that was never a problem. I don't know.
I
So,
have something
mhm,
that
perfect.
there's a problem with this that I have run into myself. You mentioned before about self-sacrifice. About we sometimes we think that self-sacrifice is a form of love, but I've come to a conclusion that it isn't. That it's a trap. We're doing so much for others, and then we get mad that they don't return that, and I mean, I fall in that trap myself. I've done so much for others, but to them, they're just like, well, fine, help me out, great. And then there's a point where you just break, and you believe you're starting on this unconditional love, and you keep doing it, but it's not returned in a way. So, and you believe you're doing so much, but again, it's somehow you've turned the tables, and you've actually gone the wrong way. And that's what my guide said to me. If you're not learning to love yourself, how can you possibly love others? And of course, you run into narcissists who says, "Oh, if you take yourself first, you're a narcissist," because they want to put it back on you. But then you have to say to yourself, "Wait a second, my self-sacrifice is a bad thing. It is bad for everyone because I am extending so much that I really can't help anyone appropriate. I think I am in the mindset." But then when you take care of yourself and then others claim that you're being selfish, you have to say to them, well, no, I'm taking care of myself at expense of no one. No one's hurt by me taking care of myself. Actually, people are benefiting. And there's that balance again. Again, self-sacrifice is a trap, and that's something that I always fall in. And that's the self-love is so important so that you can do unconditional love for others. And again, that's still something that I'm always learning and falling into that trap. And it's,
Can I add something to that too?
oh,
I've
absolutely.
seen
Please.
someone in chat was talking about their sister getting mad at everybody, and she likes to stay mad at everyone. But that's like any action that we do, especially if we fall in, into that area of over giving to people, and anything that we're doing, we should anything we do for anyone, we should never expect in return. You know that, and it's I am still helpful to one of my friends that has kind of really not playing in the spirit of things. I'm very helpful to my friend, but I almost fell into that a couple weeks ago because I was working away, and she would never do that for me, you know, and could easily do what I'm doing for her, for me, but is not getting it, but I can't put myself in there. I can't make it tit for tat. And so I'm sticking it out because I agreed to do it. And that's the thing is I have to stick it out because I can't expect her to give the same level of service per se as I'm giving. You follow? And I think that's it's very good to think about. Even in this is just one of my agape people, that I'm agape tied to agape love, and I like to help out and things like that. But I can't put anything on it because they're not doing the same, even though it was kind of in the spirit of the agreement. So yeah, it's just one of those things that pops up everywhere.
Trista,
And
Josh?
I think too, like because if you're giving and you're feeling depleted, then yes, you have to protect yourself for sure. But at the same time, if you're giving with the expectation that there's going to be something reciprocal, then that's a condition. So that's not unconditional love anymore. So, but at the same time, you don't want to drain yourself. And one of the first things that I learned, like right before I learned Reiki, the lady who had suggested that I learn it, she would always say, you have to make sure that your own cup is running over before you fill somebody else's. Not just full, because if it's full, you deplete. But if it's running over, you have to share. And that's brilliant, first of all. And secondly, I think that what am I trying to get at? If you come from that place of abundance in, all of the good things, then you're not depleting yourself when you give from that place. And I mean, that's not counting like physical things. Like if you're, giving money away, then, that might be a problem eventually. But at the same time, maybe for some people it wouldn't. So it's all energy, right? I don't
Hmm.
know. I think I'm rambling a little bit.
No, yeah, you're making a good point. Absolutely, because you would drain yourself if you don't have enough for yourself, and you're somewhat in that lack mentality, right?
Yeah.
So you would have to have more than enough, and
Yeah.
believe that it just could keep coming and flowing the more you give out. But you
Yeah.
have to be in that mindset.
And it's that delicate balance between making sure that you're replenished, but giving unconditionally, which can be tough for
Yeah, and
some, I
then
think.
and
Yeah.
that and then there's that saying that unconditional love does not equate to unconditional tolerance. And that's something that I think people get caught up on too. Oh, I've got to take that punch in the face again. No, you don't have to. You don't even have to hang around with your own relatives. Love them from afar. Love anyone that you want to be kind to. Love them from afar. And you don't have to go and put up with your relatives' crap or your brothers and sisters and things like that. You can love them from afar and love hard on them because you don't have to put up with any of the other BS. So it's easy. It makes it a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit easier from afar. So
Yeah.
That's a great point, loving from afar too, because that was one of the lessons that I had to learn too. Is that people can only love you as much as they love themselves. And if they're not at that point and you're up here and they're only here, they can only love you as much as they know love. Because if they don't know any greater love, then they think that they're really loving you. And maybe,
Yeah.
you love harder, stronger, whatever, so you can't. And that goes back to then that first point with the whole resentment thing. So if you're willing to do that and you're not expecting any different, fine. But don't get, trampled on either, and love from afar.
Yeah.
And something else I wanted to add, I remember the approximate date of when I accepted unconditional love, when I got the message, like when it flipped on in me. And I was driving home in my U-Haul, pulling my motorcycle with my two cats, driving from Arizona, and I was trying to reconcile what the hell just happened. You know what I mean? I was like trying to, because this relationship just went, poof, and I guess it was time. The universe was ready for me to move on, and I was driving home, and so I had 17 hours, 18 hours, and I'm trying to reconcile everything, and you know where I came to? I came to unconditional love. And I thought that's the answer, because as soon I was just like, it's unconditional love. I have to accept unconditional love. It was like, that was my lesson while I was driving home. It came into me with such force. And all of a sudden I started seeing clearly. Okay, okay, okay. And then I was able to accept that situation far easier, because it was tearing me up when I was driving. And then finally, well, how do I reconcile this? And then when I just started loving the situation and loving her, and everything it's just like a light bulb came on. It was an amazing experience. And it was in 2018. And that started it. It kind of kickstarted. It's not like the light bulb's going to go on and then, oh my God, and you're in there. It's like anything that we do is going to take it's going to take some intention. And then once you get into it a little bit farther, and you're like, oh my God, that would have bothered me 5 years ago, or 2 years ago, or 2 months ago. And it's just like, nope, no more. And your life seems to just get easier and easier the deeper you get into unconditional love. Any thoughts?
Josh, you're quiet. Any thoughts?
Not really. I'm still learning love. I've learned that for myself, and I can state this as well because I had a past life during my past life regression session. I've never experienced love. I've never let love in this lifetime because at two I blocked it out. So, and you don't even realize as the layers peel off, you don't realize how heavy of a coat you were wearing until you realize till the coat's off because all you know is what you've been standing in. If you don't know what you from two until a month ago, 2 months ago, I didn't know what I was standing in. I had no. I mean, to be honest, I mean, yes, everything is love. Sources, you are love, but I mean, honestly, I don't know how to feel love. I've rejected every bit of love that's ever came across my universe, and even now, you guys are like dancing around me, and half the time you guys are like, "Hey, don't you see it? We love you," and I'm like, "I don't even feel it." So I'm still learning all that. It's all. I mean, there's not. And when I have my past life regression session, I've never been married. I've never had decent parents, not in any lifetime, and I've never even had brothers and sisters or anything. So I've never had an extended family or a family that. So love in my vibration is love. Yes, of course, but my DNA holds no frame of love. I've every single lifetime that I can ever go back to in any lifetime, there was no love, not in any aspect. When I had my past life regression session, I even said, "Well, what is? I've never had kids, so that's a guarantee. In any lifetime, never been married in any lifetime, and in this lifetime, all the relationships I've ever had were specifically set up because now I can see the pattern. It's easy. They're all unemotionally available. They didn't know love themselves. They didn't love themselves either. And so yeah, I'm kind of on the sidelines with all that. I have no idea. I'm just at the point of gratefully where I'm not just being karmic to myself on a daily basis, just trying to figure out how to even eat food. So yeah, I mean honestly, love. Um, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your honesty.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I do get dawning, and I know everything's, and I feel love for myself. I'm beginning to, but give me 3 months ago, I would have said I thought, but yeah, once you peel off what I peeled off there, I didn't realize how heavy, how deep I was into how really deep I was into pushing everybody, generally speaking, away and out of my universe, um, and any love that ever came in, I just blocked it right off. So, but that's just
Dude,
yeah.
you wait, man. When this stuff kicks in, you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazed. You are so loved, dude. You had so much love around
I
you.
mean, I can see it, and there are times where I feel it. But to be honest, I am so numb. I mean, if you walked every lifetime on your planet, on this planet, or in any lifetime, as far as I can see, and I actually have met with my Akashic, my council of elders. I can actually jump into my council of elders if I wanted to. It's weird. Yeah, and then I can see the thumbs up. There's been they give me thumbs up and thumbs down. There's a table, but yeah, there's been no nothing, nada. But I've said I don't know why, but yeah, for some reason I guess that's my lesson. The grand lesson is to finally, after thousand lifetimes, thousands in different forms, to learn love. But there's never been. So yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, I'm here to lie it out. I'm not going to tell you anything. It's not the case. I mean, up until just a few months ago, I mean, I thought I, but then things peeled away. I was like, "Oh, no, you don't know anything." So there you go.
Hmm.
All
Yeah, I
right.
mean,
So,
yeah, I would, I could tell you even a few, even up 3 months ago, I would be the first. I never bonded with my parents, and I know that, and I'll tell you that. And so, like, I never bonded with my parents. They're just regular people. I have no feeling for them. I'm beginning to have a bit of a feeling for my mother, and a little bit for my father. But yeah, I never bonded. No feeling. I was just regular people. Um,
Sorry
that's
about
okay,
that.
so let's move forward from there. So let's
exactly.
say, do you guys feel that learning to forgive is one of the steps in building up that heart chakra, or build or ripping down any blocks in the heart chakra? Because I feel that it was. I think that, forgiveness really showed me even more what unconditional love was, because like I said, I was at a certain level where I thought I was giving unconditional love, but then the more I worked on forgiveness, then the more I saw, can you still love this person knowing all of these things? Can you still appreciate and see the good in them without letting them, hurt me, loving from afar and saying, hey, you know what, I can still love this person as, another person of, oh, because if we're all one, right? The way you show love, you receive love, etc., like a mirror.
Yeah, and I think the other half of forgiveness is love for self too, right? Because forgiveness is letting go. So yes, you're looking at that person and saying, you are walking this earth with me and teaching me these lessons, and thank you, and I love you for that. And I mean, if we go back to before we get here, when we're making our soul contracts and deciding who's going to be what and where we're going to learn our lessons, I mean, a lot of times the people who are teaching us those lessons are taking on such a dark and heavy energy to do so, and they're doing that because they love us, right, above and beyond this world. So if we can step back and remember that when we're in that moment, like that helps so much, because then you can go, yes, this is what we decided, and I'm so happy that I learned this lesson from you. Thank you for hurting me, because now I know better, or have grown, or what have you.
100%.
And I think some of the things that we discover, because Josh brings up some interesting thought that he's never felt love and this and that. But I pose a question to you, Josh. Do you feel that you are worthy of it?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry. So I mean,
Okay.
there's 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 a delineation between yeah, the my trauma body. I've been in trauma since I incepted the first time I ever incepted in 3D and never left trauma state. And I know that I've been in survival mode at least the last 7 lifetimes for sure. And so no, and intrinsically no, I'm source. Source is just vibration of love. I know all that, but feeling it, hey, you can have an intrinsic knowledge of it, and I can teach it because I get it. But feeling it in my life, I mean I can do things that are loving, and as you see, I do. But there's an internal feeling of that love that I didn't realize that I wasn't even once I had that pop when I realized that what had happened, and my body was like, "There you go, you figured it out." And then it was
Ah,
released.
okay.
Right. I didn't had that intuitive hit. Wait a minute. I've been carrying that heavy an energy as far back as many lifetimes as I can imagine, and at least 7 in this cycle because I know that. And so feeling that when that was released is like when I thought I felt love, not even close. Because I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's from 2 in this lifetime on. Anybody who tried to get close, I pushed them away. So all of my friends were actually rather karmic because I can't attach to, I couldn't, not to say I can anymore. I wasn't able to attach myself to anybody to like mold that friendship because I was detached from myself from what happened at age 2. So from there, it's easy to see the patterns of everyone's in a box, and I live in this box, and you stay away. I'll let you so close, but stay away. And there's only a handful of people who've ever gotten. There's only like 3 people on this entire planet, in my entire lifetime, who've ever gotten past that box. Otherwise, it's just been pretty much just superficial and I'm just cosmic Charlie, so to speak, Charlie Brown.
Well, then I guess it's safe to say too that we attract a mirror. So, you know,
Oh, yeah.
we were getting what we were putting out, or we were getting the love at the vibration that we were, so that was getting matched.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Josh has put a giant elephant on the table, and I had honestly, when he mentioned it, I had trouble with it, and then I found I was resonating with it, and then I'm like, oh no, because what he was saying, I'm like, no, 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 that's horrible, it's horrible. And I'm like, oh my God, I see myself in that way, and I honestly have friends when I say to them, why do you hang out with me? I'm not that interesting, and I'm like, wait a second, I say that. Why do I say those kind of things? And I think I am the same way, that I do push people away subconsciously. And no, I do have a small group of friends who I would never give up. But again, it's a very small group of friends who people actually trust in the real world, physical world. I mean, I consider YouTube world a little different than actually face to face stuff. And it is a lot to think. I mean, I do know that when I go to the other side with the spirits and everything, I do feel unconditional love, and that energy is what gives me the foundation to know what to look for in the 3D world. So I understand all that, and I do know how to do everything without expectations. This is beautiful. But then there's also that I do push people away, and I'm actually having trouble actually learning this about myself and having to focus on that. So thank you, Josh. Thank you for bringing up your story. Helped me find something that I was hiding from myself.
No, absolutely. You're welcome there. Yeah, and to touch what you said there, Lucky, you're correct. I can feel source love. I can sit here, and I mean, there's never any sound in my house. There's no TV on. I'm a living, walking meditation. 24/7. It's silent in here. I don't even play music in my apartment. Generally, it's just in the car. So yeah. So when I'm sitting here, if I'm in the right vibration, I'll feel source love. I can feel it. But from people, I block it off. You want to tell me it almost in a twisted way because it's almost like it's kind of corny. It feels that like this is too corny. This is too weird, and I just block it up. Shoom, and there's a wall. And anybody's ever gone. Most people just give up. Like, dude, you got this wall. Walk away. And I don't need. I didn't even realize I had it. And so yeah, we do that. Lucky push people. The reason for myself is because I never felt worthy. So I bring in people who can validate my unworthiness, right? Or show me how small I am and allow me to be that small person. Or if I'm going to be in my 3 major relationships and such, they were all people who were emotionally I could never even if even if I wanted to, they were emotionally unable to love me. So it was a perfect relationship because I had no fear, I had no worry about having to be vulnerable or any of that. I could stay in the box that I created at 2 years old quite easily. So I don't know.
And in those formative years, if you aren't shown love, how do you learn it? Like
Right.
that's when that imprint happens. So if you aren't shown it, or if you're shown some horrible version of it, then you carry that with you for your entire lifetime. And it's hard enough for people when it's one lifetime versus, multiple. So, but you know, it seems to me, Josh, for you, that this lifetime is the one where you resolve that. Because look at
Right.
the family that you have around you, right?
Mhm.
So it's getting there. And not everybody's that lucky either, right? So because if you don't know how it feels, then you're not going to resonate with it. And when somebody does love you, you're not even going to know, when you're going to probably think they're manipulating you, or they have ulterior motives or whatever, right? However, that looked for you when you were growing up.
I
Like
never
all
let
the
I never let anybody even get that close. I just walled them off to the point. I was like,
yeah,
go
yeah,
away. And then I just, at 3, I lived in my room by myself. So yeah,
yeah,
I mean, once my mom came back from the hospital, and I had the double trauma of being abandoned and being abused, and then my father who just left me on the floor watching TV. I do have that memory too, when I'm crying to him that I'm needing help, and he's just watching TV and ignoring me. So yeah, so the triple. So yeah, after that, I never let anybody else in. I just you didn't even give it the opportunity to even feel it. It was just you're boxed off, and if you came close, I attacked you and you went away, pretty much.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
said you started this journey though, right? You're learning about love now, right?
Yeah, I mean
You did say that.
that's the whole reason
Dude,
why I'm on planet Earth again. I know that for a fact. That if I don't learn love this time, I'll learn it next time or eventually,
I
because
think
I
you
mean,
will.
yeah,
You
I think
will.
you'll learn it
And
this time.
if you think back to where you were like 3 months ago versus where
oh
you are now, and then like not to be not staying in the moment, but think
no,
about it 3 months from now, or 6 months, or 3 years.
sure,
And while it's not just that we heal, but I think that once we do reach that kind of threshold, that we pick up speed, and then it just all
Mhm.
becomes so clear. You just have to have that kind of light bulb, or a few of the light bulb moments, and then it starts to stick.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's interesting to think about your journey because this has actually made me think about mine, and I don't think I really started kicking in with love. To your point, Josh, I don't think I really started experiencing it until probably when I was about 25 or 26. So it's been a journey for me too to go from where I had none. So I've been in that, and I never thought about it until you just brought it up. I didn't even think about it, but I didn't really have it. But then, yeah, I guess you do feel it. I probably felt it in different, like the junior high girlfriend that I was in love with and broke my heart, that kind of thing. Yeah, I had a couple of those experiences growing up, but nothing really super deep probably until about my mid 20s and started learning more about it. And then it ends up coming to self. I didn't learn the self stuff until, God, the last 9 years or so. Just I didn't even know it existed. And then it's like a gift that comes out, and you're like, oh my God. And then you stop doing things that are harming you and stop giving your energy away, to Lucky's point. And because we could give our energy away in a lot, in some ways, where it's more acceptable for men to do than it is for women to do. Well, at least it used to be. But without getting down to that rabbit hole, self love kicks in, and all of a sudden you really start looking at a lot of things that you thought were love, and it wasn't. It was lust or something different. And I think we're all old enough to have had a few of those experiences. Lucky, you're not 50 yet, are you?
56.
Oh well, God, we're all like, I guess Trista's the baby. Oh yeah, she's 49. Okay, but I think you understand. I think most of our audiences understand what I'm talking about. That when we're younger, a lot of times we can displace love for infatuation or for sexual attraction. And that'll keep you going for a while, especially if you're in your lower 20s. But at some point, it's going to be that big question of where is this going? Are we wasting our time? And that's one thing too, is when people factor in their energetic connection with someone. That's going to cause the love vometer to go off the roof if you have that nice, beautiful, energetic connection, and and that just cranks the dial up. It's so beautiful if you have that beautiful energetic connection. I know I just said it 3 times because I have that little habit, but the deal is you have that strong, and it's like you could feel the person when you walk in the room. And when you have that, then you start throwing in that's like instant agape love right there. And then you start throwing in the romantic connection, and it is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, but
All right.
that doesn't always last. Sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
No, so at one point, okay, so it's true, right? So our definition of love is different at different stages of awakening, and at different
Hmm.
stages or ages, right? So at what point do we start with then working on our heart chakra if it's something that we weren't necessarily raised, and I don't want to say my parents weren't loving, but for sure, like many of us, like, I mean, I always say I had a regular dysfunctional family. What is a perfect family? There's no perfection. There was surely love, but there was a whole lot of other stuff too. So, at what point then do we start working on our heart chakra to start, um, or at what point did you feel, or did any of you feel that love was something different?
Well, I honestly, I don't know that I've ever really been in love. I've had relationships, they've been fine, but I really don't think that that's ever been a real thing for me. And I missed it and I craved it for so long. And honestly, the change for me was when I got Huxley, my cat. And then suddenly it just didn't matter anymore. And I had a real love that, yeah, it was a cat, but it made me go, I don't need that anymore. I don't need love outside myself and outside of my immediate world. And I learned to love myself a lot more. I don't know if that happened right away or if it was more with time, because I mean, it's been a long time. So I've been single for like 14 years. So now I view it very differently for sure. And it's kind of like I can take it or leave it. And if it happens, then great. And if this is my life, then, I go into the grave with 3 cats, then so be it. Because I like me and I love me. So it's okay.
Well, aside from, like, I mean, because I remember, high school crushes, I guess, feeling butterflies in my tummy, and oh my God, and I haven't felt that in a really long time. I mean, and I was married, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I just never felt butterflies. I mean, I knew I was, like, in love, or I thought I was in love, right? Or, there's definitely love there, but it he wasn't the one that was giving me butterflies. I remember that in high school. It's been a really long time, 2 specific crushes that I had that were like that. I mean, did you guys ever feel any of that? Am I the only one that felt butterflies? You guys felt butterflies,
Yeah,
right?
for
You know what I'm
sure.
talking about? Yeah. Okay. But even outside of romantic love, though, like, so Huxley, or just someone that that, like, you felt your heart thump when you
Yeah, yeah,
saw them, or
yeah,
like, right. So that's what I'm talking about, like, because I think that even, like, sometimes even during meditation I feel it, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel this love, and my heart just fluttered in a way that it's pounding out of my chest.
yeah.
No. Yes. Me only. Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
for sure, for sure.
Okay, good, good, good. Perfect. Lucky. You're just thinking, you and Josh seem pensive.
I'm not sure what you mean. You said outside of romantic love, do you feel the butterflies for other people?
No, no, not no. The butterflies, definitely, that would be more romantic love. But even, like, just like, when there's like an act of love, or even if you're watching TV or something, that you just feel that love, where it's like you get a rush that you feel like your heart's gonna pop out of your chest.
Not in 3D.
No.
Only after meditation when I go to the other side. That's it. That that pure energy love is something that I can't quantify. It's that feeling of going to the place with other energy beings. Say that. I'm not sure how else to put it. Um, I mean, no human being except for my wife. I can't feel that. I mean, there's a spirit who lives in my house who I have that connection with, but that's a story in itself. It's a crazy story in itself, but having another human being, a friend that I would feel strong, I, I don't, animals, absolutely. Cats, dogs, yes. I would do anything for, yes. But another human being besides my wife or my son, you know, but there's a connection there that has to be. But true, unconditional, powerful love with that's it's interesting that I can't quantify. That's interesting.
Do you want to talk about the spirit that lives in your house and the love that you feel there, or the connection? Because I have been curious.
Oh boy, that is in of itself. Um, I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible because this is most bizarre story ever. My wife is Thai, and one of the Thai things is they have amulets with the ashes from a infant that died early in life, and they use that infant's ashes to make a being to give them good luck. We went to a my silly guides told me to bring my wife to this nice Thai restaurant, and my wife was not happy. And then my guide said, "Hey, there's a name for it which he doesn't allow me to use, but it's a baby spirit. There's one here. Do you want to help us free it?" And I told my wife, "Will you be willing for me to free this?" I'll use it once. Gomantong. It's called Gomantong by the Thai, which is basically a baby spirit trapped in a. Usually, it's trapped in a statue. And so I freed it, and it had nothing. And it said, "Can I come home with you?" And I asked my wife. She says, "Oh, absolutely, yes." So he brought it home. He was a child spirit, and it was just like having a new baby in the house. He would tell me things that I'm not supposed to know. He would tell me things my wife wasn't telling me, and he would just boom, 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 boom. But he would appear as it like a older than a toddler, younger than a probably between 4 and 7, because you don't know. He's very old though, old spirit. I stole the spirit from a statue from a Thai restaurant. That's a long story. And the idea was once I give enough energy, he's supposed to go over to the other side. Well, I gave him such, I never asked for anything. I set up an altar. I gave him his own statue that he didn't have to stay in. It was just a place for him to say a safe place, but he was free to go. And then I brought him with my friends, and I found other spirits that he could talk to and hang out. And it became one of those things where I was assisting on two levels: spiritual level, walking this being around, and physical level, which I was dealing in the real world. And my hikes allowed this. I can walk anywhere I wanted, and no one would ask, and I'm bringing the spirit around. And so, but again, there was nothing. There was no attachments. I never asked for anything. I told my wife I would ask him for favors because he's still technically a gomantong. Again, I'm not supposed to use, but I guess it's not important. He's not actually upset about it. He's not here right now. He's off somewhere else, which is another story entirely. But again, there was no attachment. I never asked for anything from him. And for him, that was something so new. So he wanted to stick around for a little longer. And he's still with me now, but he's now transferred into a more of an adult figure. And why that is, I don't know. But he's very protective, and I'm still dealing with that. But again, this spirit is the only being, human, physical, that I've ever felt true connection, true unconditional relationship where I help him, but it's more of a mutual thing where I don't feel like taken advantage of, and I never take advantage of him. And there's nothing like that in my whole life. Even my marriage is back and forth. I'm just always doing things, because it's my wife and my son. But this spirit being, I have no connection to. But we still have a connection where it's pure love. It's pure unconditional expression. And he's actually, turns out he's bonded to my wife because he's a Thai spirit, and he's genetically related. His original body was related to my wife, and
Wow.
his spirit has been reincarnated, but he's still an aspect of that spirit. Like I said, it gets very complicated, and he's energy wise, he's just here. He's going to stick around until he finishes the mission that he's made up that I don't know about. But again, it is unconditional. It is unconditional. He's here. I don't ask for anything from him. My wife sometimes asks for him to help find her keys or something like that, or her wallet, because she loses everything. And then I come down and go, here's your keys, because I know he can go. It's right here. I can see him. It's right there. It's gone. If she loses a wallet or keys, they're gone forever.
That's beautiful. But that's unconditional love. That's beautiful. Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's not a physical being. It's a spiritual being, and it's the only being that I've actually had that connection with. I mean, if he goes tomorrow, I'm happy. If he stays, he doesn't take anything up. He just sits on an altar, and he comes and goes as he pleases.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Me
It's
either.
blowing my
I don't think
mind.
it's, let's just say,
A modality, I guess, right?
I don't know either. I just know it works. I also don't know about talking to yourself in parallel timelines, and I'm doing that too. Um, and I've never looked into this things. The funny thing
Hmm.
is, a lot of these things that happen to me, I don't want to know what other people do with it because I don't want to ruin it. So I never heard anything like this before. I never heard talking to yourself in parallel beings. I would talk about walking around with a spirit being that's kind of like a companion that you talk to all the time. I don't know. I just
It's like
live
a
it.
guide almost, but a
A what?
familial guide because then it was also right. So it's like a guide. It's to some extent, right? A companion, but kind of like a guide. You
It
know.
is, but the guides have a connection to you. There's an obligation for the guides. Yes, he's like a guide, but without any reason. Because your guides are guiding you because, again, although it's unconditional guiding you, they're still responsible for getting you in the right direction. This spirit being has no connection to me whatsoever. So it's free. It's free to do whatever. It can just end talking to me entirely. It's complicated and it's something that I've never met before. I've never heard of anything like this before. It's just interesting. I mean,
And then the fact that it's actually got ties, familial ties to your wife. I mean, like, what are the chances of that? She
well,
doesn't even want to go to the restaurant. You take her to the restaurant, and then you find this baby that somehow is related to your wife. I mean, like, that's like,
well,
wow.
statistically, Thailand's a very small country. A lot of people died, so being genetically related to someone in Thailand it's pretty high because it's like England or Ireland. Basically, as long as you stay in your own country for so many generations, you're gonna meet someone of your genetic brethren. I mean, think about Mongolians. A lot of people have the Mongolian spot on the back, on the lower back. Those people are all related by Genghis Khan, and there are millions of people like that. So genetically, I mean, we'll all be related at some point if you go far back enough. So that's not in my
Genghis Khan had a lot of wives.
yeah, my wife's connection to this being. He's it's far beyond anything. I mean, he's kind. But he can be very blunt at times too, to a point where I'm not telling him that. It's usually my wife. Usually he has things to say to my wife, which, because at one point my wife was smoking, and to him, a woman smoking is far outside the norm, let alone smoking. Why? Why would you do this? To him, it was, remember, he was before nicotine was ever introduced to Southeast Asia. And then a woman doing that, it was just something that to him was so obscene, and he would call it dragon face, because breathing smoke. And the things he would say were just hilarious, and I'd have to laugh about it. She says, "What did he say about me now?" I'm like, I'll talk about it later." And to my wife, and my wife says, "Yeah, he's right." But like I said, when a small child is saying it, it was different than when you have an adult saying it, because he transformed, and why he did that was a whole different thing entirely. That's a whole story of itself. But
It's gonna be a whole show.
he's because he did that was because he needed to change his path, his goal. He's got goals that I don't even understand. But again, we live in a multi-level reality that we don't even understand. We see in 3D, which is fine, but we exist in a much of levels at the same time. And love is powerful in all of it. That I know. Love is always, no matter whatever layer you go to, um, you know, 7D, 28D, who cares? Love is the most powerful thing, no matter what. So that's the good thing. That I know. I don't know a lot.
Most powerful force in the universe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no question about that. That I know.
And love transcends, right? So love transcends after death and everything. Because I mean, how many people have a loved one that comes to visit them after they've passed on to let them know that they're okay, or they constantly check on a loved one, or you hear like of maybe babies that were supposed to be twins, and then one twin survives, and then that twin is always with the other twin, you know, uh, looking over them. Love is
Yeah,
powerful.
that when people can see the other twin of the baby who passed off early, that is something that is hard to deal with.
Were you a
Uh,
twin?
huh?
Were you a twin?
No, no, but I've
No.
met
Okay.
people
Okay.
that their twin is hanging around them, and I brought it up, and they were stunned because they told nobody, and I realized that's not something you talk about with people as a normal part of conversation. You got to brace that in. But a lot of times,
Oh, so the twin knew. They knew about their other twin being with them and were surprised you could tell.
no, they knew that their twin passed on early, that they never talked about losing their twin when they
Oh,
were a
I get you.
baby. And for me to bring that up, and it's still with them and it's aging with them to a slight bit. Um, but that's another story entirely, and that's not something you bring up. And I
Yeah.
learned that. I learned that the hard way because I brought a woman into tears by accident by bringing up her twin that
Oh,
passed away, and it was a male, which is like there's a male who looks very similar. Did you lose a brother? And I'm like, he looks just almost because she had older brother sisters. None of them passed away except for her twin, who
Hmm.
passed away in birth. And because me being, oh, I'm the cool guy who can see ghosts, I brought it up, and she just literally turned white and said, "Who told you? No one knows this." And I'm like, "Oh," and I told it with a couple of people, and I turned to them and said, I've messed up, guys. And they go, yeah, you do that a lot. And they turn to her and they explain that this happens, this happens with him. This didn't happen. We will not mention this at all. And it was one of those things where she never wanted to see me ever again.
Yeah.
but if it happened, it was meant to happen, and she needed to hear that. So I don't think that
It's yeah,
you need to
but
think of yourself as a bearer of bad news or something. I think it's if you feel drawn to bring it up because
yeah,
they need to hear it.
but there's ways of doing it that are much more. I've learned a lot in my age. I've learned that you bring things up in a much private way, quiet way, because again,
Yeah,
it's
that
cool.
makes sense.
Seeing ghosts is cool, and that's honestly, it's a vanity project for me. Well, it was. I don't talk about it a lot anymore. My friends drag me to ghost tours and stuff like that. But it used to be a cool thing when I could walk into a house and know someone died in this house, and I could tell them all about it. Oh, how cool you are! But again, a lot of times, ghost adventures, stuff like that. Everything I do is the most boring. Ghosts to me are 99.9% of ghosts I've met are all boring regular people. Nothing like ghost adventures and exciting and scary demons. I've never even seen a demon in my whole life. All the ghosts I've seen, I've never met a demon. And people are like, oh my God. And they try to go off about demons. And I'm like, yeah, I've never experienced that. And they go, oh, you're protected. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's not, but true. Actually, having your twin with you for your life, that's pure unconditional love because the twin doesn't have to be around. That's unconditional love. They'll never leave that.
I think so too. And I think that, and I bring it up because I think that there are people in our community, in our soul tribe, that have spoken about it, at least one or two. And usually I'm really good at remembering, but I can't remember. And I wouldn't call them out anyway. But I think we have one or two that were twins, that one twin was lost in the, and wasn't born.
Oh, read the comment I just put up.
Mm,
It
okay.
is, yeah, it's huge. It is huge. It's a huge thing that having your sibling with you for a long, for the rest of your life, just hanging out, kind of like a step in soul guy, you know, because I think that's better than any soul guide because they've experienced life for at least part of their lives, and now they're with you and they know what it's like. Because a lot of the guys that are helping us, guiding us, they never lived, and they really aren't the best. They give unconditional advice, but they don't give their best advice because they don't know what it's like to actually live a physical life, and they can be, you know, they can be pushy at times because they don't understand what it's like to be a physical being. But again, going on the other side and being a spiritual being is fun too.
Excellent. That's
I
beautiful.
don't want to take over the show. I just
No, 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 no. Because that's so interesting to me, because here we are talking about love, but sure, of course, there's love that transcends all dimensions, all realms, living or
Hmm.
dying. And you brought up a really good point. And then that relationship that you have there is not only definitely an example of unconditional love, but one that, wow, is all I can say.
Mm.
It's
it,
beautiful.
I mean, and it's the stories that he has are through at least 300 years of just being a good luck charm. And that's what he was. He was a good luck charm for the longest time until me bringing energy to free him. And I mean, the restaurant was successful. They didn't need him anymore. I don't think so, at least. Not a problem.
This
We
is
haven't
so
gone back. We haven't gone back to that restaurant since. There's a couple times when my friends wanted to go to that restaurant, and we end up not going. And it was the weirdest thing. And I didn't stop it. I'm like, sure, because what's one of the jokes is like, my wife, who's Thai, I can't eat spicy food, and my friends are like, your wife is a Thai, she makes Thai cuisine. It's spicy. You can't touch it. My friends will come over, eat the beautiful Thai food, be all like, wow. And I'm like, I can't. I'll go sit with the dog outside because sometimes spicy food and the poor dog was like, I can't take this. I got to go outside. And I would go sit outside with the dog because, me and the dog, because it just makes our eyes water and everything like that. And my friends are just, spicy Thai food. And to me, it's foreign. Eating spicy food is so foreign to me. It's just one of the things that, it's also when I grew up Irish and French, and very, very little spices. But
Mm.
we all live our different, and I think that's the fun thing about life. Sometimes life comes together on people who would not normally be in that kind of relationship, and we just fell in together. That's it.
exactly. That's beautiful. It can still be love where there's differences.
Yeah,
Struggling through some,
that's a good point. Yeah,
you know. So yeah, and look at that. And Angela and Christina are talking about how energy never lies and love never dies, and that's true. Love never dies.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
you guys want to add anything else that maybe we have? I mean, I think we could talk about love for a long time, more
Yeah.
even than just with our relations. Like, look at our soul tribe. I mean, there's definitely love there too, and we don't, we know what we look like, and some others maybe through Zoom calls, but we don't even know each other. It's just how Victor says that it's just the energy, and you feel it, and there's love there.
Yeah, and it's like when we go to Mumshi's, there's a language
Hmm.
barrier a bit. I don't, my Tagalog is terrible, but, you make the effort, but the energy most of the time, that Momshi is just so energetic, so energetic. And it's just other people like Alexis, super high energy, and it's fun
Yes,
to be there. And, you know, and it's like we have this wonderful bond every time because I start my morning with Josh. I start my morning with Josh. That's what I do. I'm not always super in chat, but I'm listening because I'm getting stuff, getting my coffee ready and doing my morning stuff, and sometimes working at, just busy and listening and not necessarily in chat, but it's just all those little things that we bring to the table, and somebody actually kind of tried to throw an insult at our community, and I defended us vigorously. And the thing is, this person, well, I'll tell you what. Let me just stop there. I'm going to stop right there. I'm just going to stop right there. But the deal is about that is I defended us very successfully. because I said, what we're doing throughout our days is holding space. We're holding it for the planet. We're holding it for one another. We're holding that vibrational frequency. We're about this whole this journey. And what are we doing? We're holding space throughout the entire day, all the places we visit. So
Yep,
it's
and
like
love
a
is fierce.
nice web.
That was
Yep.
Daddy Bear. Daddy Bear standing up for the tribe, saying, "Nope, don't mess with my tribe. Don't mess with my family."
Yeah.
Love is fierce.
Yes, it is.
For as much as love is loving, there's the other side too, where it's like, "Nope, I don't think so. Not today." So that teaches you that too. That passion says, "I don't know." Trista, Josh, anything else in summation?
I don't think so, Josh.
No, not really. Not the best. Maya, not the best.
I think that if we come back and do the show in another year, we'll see how much more everyone has learned about love, and even love that we thought was the highest point of love. And oh my God, I'm feeling so much love and this and that. And I think it's going to go over.
Yeah. It's going to go through the roof.
Perfect. Okay, so we need to set up more moderators. All right, I see you, Rossi. All right.
I'm not
We have a
logged.
troll. Angela's in charge for now. She got it. She can feel that energy, but we will.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. Angela's a mod. That's right. Okay.
Yes. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. I don't know who's hosting next week. I can't remember what the rotation was. I think is it Josh? I think Josh is hosting next week. I'm not sure. But either way, sorry. I hope someone trying to dodge the camera here. But we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you for leaving comments. I did not check the comments on last week's show, but I know we all kind of look, and I appreciate that so many people are getting the word out. Linda has been promoting us like crazy. We're going to work on some shorts. We figured something out where we can do some shorts, some clips, and get them out, and hopefully grow the channel a little more and explore more subjects that are of interest. If there's anything that you want to hear us talk about, or anything that you think that requires further digging into, definitely leave us a comment and let us know. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to see more of. Thank you all, and have a great night. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Namaste.
Thank you.